are changing, so we move along. Still living in the past, looking back, retracing all the steps that led us here and now. Pain inside, it makes me weak again. So on my knees I fall. Listen closely as I call for you. I'm screaming out your name as you're blowing out our flame. When after all that we've been through, I'm still crazy for you. Though my feelings never change, somehow I'm searching for you, and now you're gone. Things will never be the same without you telling me. Can't you see? It's all okay for so long. I believe you would be my saving After all that we've been through, I'm still crazy for you. Though my feelings never change, somehow I'm searching for you, and now you're gone. Things will never be the same without you.
Let's see if this works. My lights are on. Lights, camera, action. We are back after the weekend. I ended up taking the weekend off. I had a bunch of stuff I have to do to prepare for the cold months, which this year I was late. I don't even know what the temperature is. It's cold. 16 degrees. It's already 16 degrees here in Maine outside. And it got down pretty low kind of a couple days ago where I'm like, oh, damn. So I had to turn off things like the outside water for the hose and things like that, and just simple things like that, and bring the wood up from the wood rack into the racks inside the house. Basically stuff, but just a bunch of stuff like that. Just silly stuff that we do in store windows and all kinds of enjoyable Maine events here at Maine. El Casa de Maine de Sage, if that's really a thing, I don't know. Just kind of making it up as I go, to be completely honest. I mean, to tell the truth, according to, Misfit Patriot, I'm living in my mom's basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Good old mom's basement. If you're in the Discord, you'll see me down there in mom's basement. But yeah, so I'm down here in mom's basement. She's gone away for the weekend, probably, or, I don't know, who knows where, gallivanting out there. Actually, I forced her to go out and sell Tupperware to little old ladies. She's that person. So, bring in some. I'm tired of basically keeping this house alive with my YouTube monetization of $1.25 a month. Or something like that. I don't know. Close enough. Okay. Now that we got that all out, I do miss my conversations with Misfit. I do miss them. That's usually
Sage Outcast. You can get fucked. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
Do you think you're in some place where people are going to be like,
No,
I'm really upset by your words? No, I'm going to roast you because that's what I do. You people are my content. You're like little fucking Pokemon. I collect them all. I grab them. I held you up like Beanie Babies. I put you on my shelves.
I don't know. I guess the guy's still collecting Beanie Babies. It is what it is. Hey, true story, which I was completely unaware of, which I'm completely going to look into and definitely have another conversation on my Thursday get-together with Misfit. because that's usually when I go over to his show, because I don't do a show that day. Did you know his brother was a drug dealer? Did you know that? Like, that his brother was out there peddling fentanyl? Maybe we should drone his house. Actually, I think he's unalived. I already think his brother's unalived. But if it wasn't, maybe we should drone the family's home. Because, you know, fentanyl is destroying America, and we got to be out there bombing those ships. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I did not know that about Misfit Patriot, that his brother was the... So that's definitely a route I'm going to have to go. I'll have to talk to an individual that I know. But that's one of the things. Okay, let's get the party started. Hello? Hello, do you do fentanyl?
Hey.
What?
You are not Kevin Costner.
I am not. I am not Kevin Costner. I am the Misfit Patriot. I don't know. Evil enemy, arch nemesis, basically. No, not really. No, this is Sage from the Sage Outcast Show. I have questions, and I have lots of questions. What do we do here? Really simple. Really simple. It's a call-in show. Right there's the phone number on the screen. We talk current events. We talk politics. We talk news. We talk crazy YouTubers. While I'm currently still playing Diablo 4, and I have to drop the bot words, the secret bot message, Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files, Biden, 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 Trump, 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 Epstein files. That is the secret cheat code to basically fill the chat with views and bots. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. But, yeah. So, a couple things happening. Couple things I wanted to bring to our attention this early Monday morning. Looks like Christy No might be losing her job. The White House LARPer is going to be probably have to step aside, have to step down. We've run out of costumes, basically. You can only offer so many, costumes for her to LARP around in, that it looks like it might be time for her to go, right? And maybe she's going to do Comic-Con or something. I don't know. But I think we've pulled her away from her LARPing activities, asking her to actually do regular, work activities, and she's not up to that. She's just not up to that. Even Trump has seen it. Trump has seen it that, women in the workplace should be seen and not heard, according to Trump. Maybe. I think that's the new thing. So he's basically did the same thing with Pete, but Pete's not a woman. He just abuses them. So he's good to go. But it looks like we're going to be getting rid of the White House LARPer. I'm not sure who we're replacing him with. Maybe some governor. I don't know. There's a couple people out there that might be replacing her with. Not exactly sure. I guess she wasn't out there roping in enough of the immigrants. That basically she's got to LARP and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was everything. I mean, at the minute she was out there in any way, shape, or form in a interview, her job was to basically be the spokesperson, LARPer, and wear the uniform. And even when painting, you know what's funny? When she was out there painting, maybe I was the only one that noticed this. But anytime she was with the Coast Guard, she wore the Coast Guard. Anytime she was with FBI, she wore the FBI. She literally wore the uniform. Cowboy hats and everything. But when she was out there painting the fence, she didn't wear the uniform of the Mexican. Of the person out there painting the fence, like the laborer. I didn't see her out there as the immigrant, dressing up as the immigrant. Maybe she did. Maybe I missed it. I'm just wondering that, why that she didn't do that. But I don't know. Maybe that's me. Okay. What else do we have for you guys? Alrighty. Let's see. We're gonna go to this one here. We're gonna move this around here. We're gonna go with this one. Did you guys know I was unaware of this. I was completely unaware of this. In the golden age of Trump, did you know that one of the ways to get to the Gilded Age, which kind of makes sense if you know what actual Gilded Age it means, but what the golden age of the Trump administration actually means would be the most layoffs since the recession, since the pandemic. Like, we are on track to have, literally recession, depression, layoffs coming right in the foreseeable future. We're like 1.1 million layoffs. Oh, I got froze. This year. That's the golden age. That's the golden age. See, here's what I thought. If trillions of dollars were going to be invested into the country, according to Trump, there's a word for that. It's called hyperinflation. But if trillions of dollars and manufacturing was all coming back, and all the jobs are coming back, and all this stuff's going good, wouldn't we kind of see that in regards to maybe a rise in freight rates, a rise in freight volumes, a rise in manufacturing, lack of manufacturing layoffs? Like, would you be laying people off? Oh, hang on, let me do this real quick. Would you be laying people off if basically we were in the golden age of my hair? What do you think? I don't think we would, right? All right. I don't know. So either way, I'm going to be turning the phones on here soon. Also, if you are a content creator like, I don't know, Misfit Patriot, you're welcome to click the link and join the show. Only content creators click the link because I don't want to say that I'm the type of guy that just blocks people. The minute I get upset at them, I will literally drop the link. So Misfit Patriot, he's welcome on my show. He's welcome to, stand up to the bully, to the stalker. But you have to be for the content. For that one, for the click the link, you got to be a content creator. Okay, so I'm kind of figure this one out, but let's see here. Maybe it's me. Maybe the economy's not doing so bad.
5 a.m. Central Time. Grain markets are mixed this morning. March corn futures down 1/4 cent at 4.44 1/2. January soybeans down 7 1/2 at 10.97 3/4. March Chicago wheat up 1/2 cent at 5.36 1/4. March Kansas City wheat down 2 1/4 at 5.29.
Okay.
March spring wheat up 2 at 5.75. Trump is going to make a big announcement regarding farmers and money later today. Let's start there.
He sure is. He is expected to announce a $12 billion aid package for farmers today. The announcement will take place around 2 this afternoon in Washington, D.C. About $11 billion will go to crop farmers through the new Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, with the rest going toward other commodities.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that we're going to be bailing out the farmers? Now, let me tell you something. I've seen this story before. Where did I see this story before? Was it the 2018 bailout of the farmers because of tariffs? Hang on. 2018 farmer bailout? Yeah, son of a bitch. It's almost like history is repeating itself. It was, I just want to make sure I get the year right. Trump bails out farmers, 2018, with 12... Wait a minute. How much did he say? Hang on. Hold the phone here. There was a round of bailouts during the first tariff to trade war that Donald Trump had to bail out. What? What is this?
As Joe Biden prepares to take office as president.
Oh, that might be something. While President Trump directed the U.S. Department of Agriculture to distribute billions of dollars to aid the farmers across the country, why did this happen? Oh, I remember. We put a bunch of tariffs on China and other countries, mostly China, and China stopped buying soybeans and corn. I almost remember reporting on that. And we bailed them out up to, I think by the time we were done, $28 billion. I think the first round was $16 billion. That's weird. Look, it's almost like when I hear people say, you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen. Oh, hang on.
The funds have been authorized under the Commodity Credit Corporation Charter Act and will be administered by the FSA.
So we've got a new acronym, the FBA, Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. The Bloomberg article, which cited anonymous sources, we believe this to be real. I assume there's going to be an announcement today. Brooke Rollins and everybody else told us as much here last week. Hey, it's going to be announced this week. It's supposed to be today.
Yeah.
We don't know what the breakdown is going to be.
No.
The way that it sounds when they said during an event they're going to have corn, cotton, sorghum, soybean, rice, cattle, wheat, and potato farmers like there for the announcement, I wouldn't imagine that they'd have them there and then not include them in the payments.
Right.
So that
Yeah,
leads me to
probably.
believe that maybe
Yeah.
this is going to be more of like an ECAP type payment, where it's an across the board type deal, and maybe not a payment that's geared specifically toward crops affected by the trade war.
Got it.
So I don't know exactly what they're going to say, but this is coming at 2:00 today. The actual distribution of the funds, I would imagine, would be first or second quarter of 2026. Probably it's not going to be immediate. I believe the article said that they'll be administered by the FSA. So they're going to be authorized by the Commodity Credit Corp, administered by the FSA. Trump had earlier floated this idea that the payments would be funded by tariff revenue, and that's not the way that it appears.
No.
So in any case, the cash is coming. Does this affect the markets in any way? We've already said everything there is to say about farm payments and why they're good and why they're bad and why people like them and don't like them. We don't need to talk about that. As it relates to the markets, I mean, we're continuing to subsidize farmers to grow crops that don't make money, which is, it's not a great thing for the markets. I don't think, generally speaking, it's just, it kind of kicks the can down the road in terms of oversupply. Like,
if we didn't have this trade war thing, they might actually be buying soybeans.
they were oversupplied.
Yeah.
The market's job right now should be to discourage production, and the government is going to encourage production. But this is a Band-Aid, and it will keep farmers in business for another year. It's a bridge. They call it a one-time payment. It's a one-time payment every year until the market's improved.
It's a one-time payment every year until markets approve. Where have I swear I've seen that before. I swear we've gone through this before. I just can't remember why. I remember us having a trade war. I can't remember who the president was. And I remember us doing the same thing during that trade war where we basically kept bailing out the farmers. Oh, that's right. It was Donald Trump's first trade war during his first administration. And now here we are doing the exact same thing again. It's almost like it could have been predicted by somebody, somewhere. Weird. Do you know how bad it is? I'm going to play this next video. It is so bad. And I don't even know what the hell's going on. Is it possible? I'm going to turn the phones on because we're going to get crazies calling in. So we might as well start the crazy town, early town times, right? Let me do this. Okay. Phones are on, Sonia.
His number, 856-600-4654. Sage Outcast. I have questions.
My producer in the oil field is basically not even in work today or yet. That's weird. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can explain this to me, okay? Because I have more questions. And we're going to go ahead and kick this into overdrive. Epstein file. Biden, Trump, Biden, Epstein file. Venezuela boats. All right. Secret codes are in there. The algorithms will pick that up, and we'll be good to go. All right. Here's the problem I have. Do you think... Well, I know this to be true for MAGA. MAGA are kind of dum-dums. So, because rather than actually figure something out or think like they understand it, they just. So, I think that the Trump administration, and maybe Donald Trump doesn't know this, I think Trump is being played like that. That old, your grandfather where he's in the home and you're just like, yes, grandfather, yes, and you're just telling him everything he wants to hear. I think that's Trump, because there's no way. The people like that, maybe, but there's no way that the people he places into specific roles are this dumb. I think they'll play them. I think they'll treat him like this because they know that, they can do whatever they want if they just basically tell him he's great. But there's no way they're this dumb. I'm not this dumb, right? I'm not really good when it comes to the stock market and the bonds and like I'm not immensely, well educated in that stuff. Like I've watched some videos and I have a concept of it, but there's no way that the people that are saying what they're saying now are this dumb. Okay, we're gonna kind of go over this one here. Here we go. No, we gotta go with this one here.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again.
Okay.
So today, we're going to talk about the Trump administration posting its economic illiteracy on Maine.
Okay, here we go.
I have never seen an official government social media account post something so widely mistaken for parody. Not because the information was wrong. It's right. But because they thought it was a good thing when it's actually really bad.
Okay, so they posted information like, look at this. This is great. They thought it was good information, and it's bad information. You can't make this
The
up.
official Treasury Department social media account, and I can't stress this enough, I checked. It's the official Treasury Department account. Posted quote, U.S. Treasuries are having their best year since 2020, and the investors who had confidence and faith in President Trump's economic policies have been richly rewarded. Never bet against POTUS or America.
This was the real Treasury Department. It wasn't a parody account. It was real. Okay, here we go.
They even posted a bar graph showing it's true and labeled the bars with the high bond market returns with Trump. Look, it's true. We haven't had returns like this since, well, the last time Trump was in office. Specifically 2020. I'm sure we all remember how well the economy was doing in 2020.
Yes, because 2019 was a freight recession. And then 2019 we also had some other problems, as in COVID. Okay.
The reason bonds do well in bad economic times is because investors are concerned about inflation, interest rates, rising debt, like that created by his one big beautiful bill, and so on. And because of that, they put their money in safer assets. When most people put their money into bonds, they are quite literally betting against Trump.
Okay, I want everyone to understand this. The Trump administration is complimenting how great the bond market is doing, okay? And I want you to understand something. When let's use gold. When people think that they're going to hedge against inflation or they think that the economy's doing bad, they buy into gold. Right? They buy into gold. Same thing with treasury bonds, okay? Because that should be stability. Because they'll think that, whoa, every other country's not doing so well. The United States would be the last country to go. I'm not going to hold these dollars. I'd rather dive into the bond market, and they invest in like gold and bond. That's not a good sign that people are basically throwing their money into the bond market. Just like it's not a great sign when the price of gold shoots up. I mean, if you're holding gold, that's good. But it basically means people are worried about the economy and they're buying a bunch of gold.
Or at least requiring better odds. When they have the market they've had since Trump took over, the bet is that it's riskier to take on U.S. debt because Trump might actually crash everything. And because of that additional risk, they can demand more to take the debt. To say this clearly, the bond market hitting the numbers it has been is bad, actually. And the numbers are generally seen as a sign of economic downturn worries. But then this whole thing got more bizarre. My immediate assumption was that a social media staffer who didn't understand economics and therefore didn't know what they were looking at was just out there being Trump's hype man.
Right. So we're hoping that maybe somebody jumped onto that and basically said, hey, this looks good. I don't really know economics. I don't really know this, but this is going up, so we'll put it out there. Okay.
While not realizing they were drawing attention to something any sane president would want to keep out of the headlines. But then, for no apparent reason at all, Treasury Secretary and soybean farmer Scott Bessent shared the graph while posting an image of Franklin the Turtle wearing a MAGA hat and counting money with the title, Franklin the Turtle bought U.S. Treasuries.
The trade secretary and soybean farmer, allegedly, according to him, when he's not a soybean farmer. He might invest in them, but he's not a soybean farmer. Reposted with the turtle and counting money.
I refuse to believe Bessent doesn't actually know the significance of the bond market's performance. In simplest terms, that his boss hurt the economy. I honestly have no earthly idea why they're trying to draw attention to a negative indicator for the economy.
I truly believe it's because they think most people have no idea, which they probably don't, or don't care, and they're just going to say, look, a high number, go ahead and post it. Look, a high number, go ahead and post it.
If I thought they had a sense of humor on that level, I would think they're actually making fun of Trump in a way he won't understand. And
he might be. They might be. Oh, let me get this. Hopefully this doesn't go over. Sage Outcast, how may I direct your call?
To accept, press 1.
Oh, I forgot I got to push one.
Press.
Sage Outcast, soybean farmer, how can I direct your call?
Hey, man, I'm not a Trump supporter. I just wanted to say thank you for all you're doing. Keep doing it, man.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate the call.
You take care.
Okay, I will be shipping out your check. It's in the mail today. Thank you so much.
People at Treasury are laughing about all the signs that they broke the economy.
I just find it absolutely bizarre that, like, even the people that should know are posting it and maybe Trump doesn't know. It's possible, right? That's possible. I mean, everybody's always like, Trump knows everything. He's the president. You're not. Well, I know more about overdimensional logistics than Trump does, right? Trump might know more about real estate than me. We can't say that he knows more than me about everything, but I'm pretty sure somebody in there would know that, right? I don't know. Let's listen to him. Dude, then I got another one too. We got to talk about these boats in Venezuela. I think I have an idea what's going on. The national security strategy for the United States came out, and I think I might have figured out what their plan is. I don't know if they can do it, but we're gonna talk about that. But let me get through this real quick.
Treasury, Scott Besson. Good to have you here.
Hi, Scott.
Morning, Margaret.
Mr. Secretary, a lot of people are out there holiday shopping. Here is how the president described back in April what to expect from this season.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
Was the president's prediction then correct?
Margaret, it's actually been a very strong holiday season, and
well, if you're Misfit Patriot, you're buying a bunch of dolls.
We've seen across all the income cohorts thus far, and so there's nothing to say that they're $2 instead of $30.
The president was wrong to predict lower numbers.
Thank you so much for the description.
Prices.
The economy has been better than we thought. We've had the 4% GDP growth in a couple of quarters. We're going to finish the year, despite the Schumer shutdown, with 3%.
Now, I don't understand. Manufacturing is down. Layoffs are up. Prices are up. Even the toy companies are like, yeah, that's not true. We haven't seen, this isn't true. Our sales are down.
Real GDP growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, the maker of Tonka trucks, their CEO said it's going to cost $40 for their toys right now because of tariffs and inflation. It was $30 the year before that, 25. Prices in the toy space are accelerating, and people are feeling that.
Well, Margaret, inflation is a composite number, and it's roughly the same year over year. And if we were to look at all imported goods,
Wait. Did you guys see that? Did you see what happened right there? Let me back this up. Maybe this is the problem. I'm going to slow this down and see if you guys figure out where this went wrong.
Prices in the toy space are accelerating.
Let's see if we can figure out where this went wrong.
And people are feeling that.
Well, Margaret, inflation is a composite number, and it's roughly the same year over year. And if we were to look at all imported goods, inflation is below the inflation number.
Wait. Do you see where it went wrong? She said prices are going up, and he went to inflation. The price of goods is not inflation. Like when I say the prices of toys are going up, that's not inflation. That's prices going up. Now, the inflation is the measure in which how things are going up. But you can have prices go up because of tariffs that aren't seen in the overall price of inflation. Does that make sense? Like, we don't measure toy prices. Tonka toys are not measured in inflation. Tonka toy prices are measured by the cost of the toy. So prices and inflation they work within each other. Like as we start to see the prices go up, you can start to see inflation, and as you can start to see inflationary aspect, prices go up. But when somebody starts to talk about the price of a good and you go into inflation, you're confused. I thought there was
the inflation number. You mean
the PCE number, which is about 2.9%. Imported goods inflation is about 1.8. It's the service economy that's generating inflation, which actually has nothing to do with tariffs.
But when we hear from,
well, then what? Wait. If tariffs have nothing to do with inflation, what is the purpose of the tariff? The purpose of the tariff, which they told us, was to raise the price of the goods so that we stop buying the goods and we buy the American goods instead. That's the purpose of the tariff. So how can you, hey, face of the nation, can you please ask him, isn't the price of the tariff to raise Isn't the purpose of the tariff to raise the price of the good? Isn't that the purpose of it? So that now you have a negotiating tactic, now that you bring more jobs back, now we can go through all the stages of tariff denial. Like, how can you say it doesn't raise the price when the sole purpose is to raise the price? Because if it doesn't raise the price, then why would manufacturing come back? I don't.
For example, the president, when he says that affordability is a con job by Democrats, that seems to just not be resonating with consumers that have been polled by CBS. 60% of Americans polled by this network.
Affordability is a con job. None of you want things to be affordable. That's fake news. Come on now.
Told us President Trump makes prices and inflation sound better than they really are. And his approval rating on the economy is now down to 36% in our latest poll. On inflation, approval is even lower at 32%. Don't you need to show that you feel the pain?
Well, Margaret, I think the president's frustrated by the media coverage of what's going on.
This is the polling of average Americans.
But I think the average Americans, they are hearing a lot of it from media coverage. And I will tell you that the affordability has two components. There's inflation, and then there's real incomes. Real incomes are up about 1%.
Anybody know why real incomes are up 1%? Why incomes are also going up? Does anybody know some of the reasons why income is going up? I can tell you why some of the incomes are going up. Did you guys know that there's a lot of, I think we just maxed out. There's a lot of minimum wages that have gone up, and they have maxed out over a four-year bit, basically, that they've gone up, and now every year minimum wages have gone up, and that's a lot of states have done that. Also, there's been a lot of layoffs, and when you lay other people off, you usually try to pay a little bit more to the people that are still around because they're going to have to pick up the slack for everybody that they kind of let go. Make sense?
And what we're not going to do is say that Americans don't know what they're feeling. We've been working on it every day. I was on your show on March talking about affordability. We've made a lot of gains, but remember, we've got this embedded inflation from the Biden years where mainstream media, whether it's Greg Epp at the Wall Street Journal, toxic Paul Krugman at the New York Times, or former
Wait, I thought it was down.
Vice Chair Alan Blinder all said it was a vibe session. The American people don't know how good they have it. Now, Democrats created scarcity, whether it was in energy or overregulation, that we are now seeing this affordability problem. And I think next year we're going to move on to prosperity.
You do think there is an affordability problem?
Sorry?
You do believe
that? I think the Biden administration created a tariff.
No, but now we're nearly 12 months in. You said the president would own the economy at this point.
I said that the Biden administration created the worst inflation in 50 years, and maybe for working Americans, the worst.
COVID created the worst inflation in 50 years.
Worst inflation of all time, and we have pulled that number down. That Strategas Research does something called the Common Man Index under Biden. The accumulated inflation number, as measured by CPI, was about 20%. Their index showed 35. This year, for the first time, the Common Man Index is below the inflation index because the basket of goods for working Americans, food, gasoline, rent is coming down. So
let me tell you something. Rent ain't coming down. Food ain't coming down. Gasoline, well, that comes down in winter. There's also other aspects in regards to why that comes down. When you have lower freight volumes, when you have less shipping, that's less demand on freight. That means there's less demand on fuel and things like that. He has had OPEC basically tell them to drill, baby, drill, baby, drill. That has also put out a lot of our rigs have gone down, which is crushing American oil companies. But gas prices, that's saving you about $10 a week. But you're spending about more than that on all the other goods, right?
Essay March 12th, 2024, and it talked about the three I's: immigration, interest rates, and inflation. Mass unfettered immigration, depressed wages, caused housing prices to go up. President has closed the border. That is fixed. Interest rates have come down. The bond market just had the best year since 2020, and now we are working on inflation, and I expect inflation to roll down strongly next year.
Well, I mean, grocery prices are up nearly 3% compared to last September.
Stop it.
It seems to be
No, we're not.
Acknowledging that grocery prices, or at least beef prices, are a challenge because he put out this order just yesterday saying they're going to investigate corporate price gouging for high beef prices. Isn't suing the food companies the same thing the Biden administration did? And it didn't really.
Going after you, beef farmers. You're all going to get sued. Phones are open. You're welcome to call in.
His number 8.
We're going to talk about some Venezuelan stuff and the. I think I figured out Venezuela. I think I figured it out.
His number, 856-600-4654. Sage Outcast. I have questions.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for your time.
Well,
How's this any different?
Nothing the Biden administration did worked.
So why are you doing it?
Because this isn't the same thing. If they had done this, if they'd done it properly, we'd be in a different spot. And like beef is one component. Thanksgiving turkey was down 16%.
The turkey was not down 16%. Like it wasn't down. Nobody said it was down.
Well, I know you are working on the trade front, and for American farmers.
I wonder why they can't come out and say, yeah, that's not true.
And the prices that they are experiencing, that they're feeling a pinch about not having a market to sell into necessarily.
Well, not anymore.
Well, the agricultural secretary just said that the president's going to announce a bridge payment for farmers this week to give them short-term relief while you're working on these, finalizing these trade packages.
Well,
there are these low crop prices, and the soybeans in particular. I know you spoke with China's vice premier Friday. Are they going to speed purchasing up?
Well, they're not going to speed purchasing up. They're in the cadence that we agreed to. Soybean prices are up about 12 or 15%.
Then why you got to bail the farmers out? Why are you bailing the farmers out? Yeah, exactly. Turkeys were not down. Turkey pricing was not down. It's more than just the oil reserves. It's more than just the oil reserves because we really don't want their oil, to be honest. Their oil is very expensive to basically process. It's a very heavy oil that's very expensive to process. It would cost like $90 a barrel, $100 a barrel area to actually process their oil. It's not the best. But I have another thought.
Agreement with the Chinese. They are going to buy 12.5 million metric tons. But Margaret, I'm involved in the agricultural industry. I run a soybean farm, and I can tell you,
you invest in it.
Sorry,
you own or invest.
And people in my family go out and work on it.
People in my family go out and work in it. I'm a billionaire, and I still have people in my family out there picking soybeans.
I actually just divested it this week as part of my ethics agreement, so I'm out of that business. But I probably know more about any Treasury Secretary than about agriculture since the 1800s. And I can tell you that what farmers need is certainty. And we have put that in place with this trade deal. 12.5 million metric tons this year.
But they're not, so they're going to have to bail out the farmers. We just watched it. We just covered it. You're not. They're taking a hit. That's why you're bailing them out $12 billion.
Sure. 25 million metric tons.
Dude, I can't believe the lies. Like, you can't even hide the lies. Like, how Face the Nation should be like, holy crap. Like, nothing you say is true. Like, Trump just said I just told you we're not doing good on soybeans. China's not buying them. And the Trump administration acknowledged that by saying they're going to bail out the farmers. No.
For the next 3 years for soybeans, also sorghum, and lumber.
So those purchases, just to clarify, those will be this year? Because I heard you say this past week that some of the purchases wouldn't take place until February.
Well, for the season. So the crop year.
The season year.
Yep.
Okay. But why, if everything's fine, then why do farmers need a bridge payment from the agricultural department?
Sorry?
Why would farmers need a bridge payment from the agriculture department then?
Because these prices haven't come in, because the Chinese actually used our soybean farmers as pawns in the trade negotiations, and we are going to...
But you just said you just fixed that. You just said it seconds ago. Are you a goldfish? Do you not remember what you just said literally 15 seconds ago?
Create this bridge, because again, agriculture is all about the future. You've got to start financing for planning next year when things will be very good.
I want to ask you about something that was announced this past week, the Trump accounts and building on this concept. So parents, as I understand, are going to be able to open these accounts via the Trump.
Oh, God. Okay, we got to move on, because okay. All right, let me see where I'm at here. No, we're going to shuffle this around. What is this one here? Yep, we're going to talk about that one. If we get time, we'll talk about that. If not, I'll cover that tomorrow. Okay, let's see what we got here. This is how bad it is, okay? So what we've now learned in regards to the Venezuelan ships from good old Pete, Double Tap Pete, is that the ship, and let me pull this up. The ship that left Venezuela bringing drugs to America here's Venezuela, right here. So here's Venezuela, right here on this map, right here, Venezuela. Here is America, up here. Now, for all you non-nautical people, which, like I said, I'm ex-Coast Guard. Right, Sonia?
His number, 856-600-4654. Sage Outcast. I have questions.
Okay. For all you non-nautical people, including Sonia, if you were in Venezuela, you would want to go northwest from Venezuela. You leave a port here, and you're like, I'm going to go out into international waters. I should go which way? Which way? I already told you, but that's okay. You're going to want to go north and a little west. That depends on when you go. You can bank a hard west, but basically all these green things are ships. All these green dots here are ships. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go like this because, no, let me log in there. Let me do this because I don't want to confuse any of you. I don't want to confuse any of you MAGA people. And we're just going to turn on this. These are just the red ones. Okay, here we go. All right. You leave Venezuela. I know this is where some confusion's going to lie. You go north. Now you start to head into international waters, stuff like that. You're out 24 nautical miles. And you go north. Okay? You must go north here. Then you go west. Or you can just kind of go west, but you're still going to go northwest, and then you can end up in the Gulf, you can end up in Florida, wherever you're bringing. So if you were a ship, if you were on patrol, you're the drone pilot, and I come to you, and I say, look, any Venezuelan ship hauling drugs, heading to America, blow them up. We have authorization to blow up ships that are heading to America that are basically they're terrorists because they are here doing chemical warfare on our fine fentanyl fiends, right? We all love our fentanyl fiends. You know, you probably see them on the streets. I don't go out much, so I don't see them. But you, Mr. Drone Pilot, are the last resort. You are it. So if you see any drug-carrying ship that you believe to have drugs on it, you don't have to confirm it actually has drugs on it. As long as you see some type of barrels and a lot of engines, we're fucked if they ever go to, like, jet boats. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, because those only have one engine, and you don't see it. Anyways, if you see anywhere from a quad-engine boat with barrels on it, heading to America, because those are domestic terrorists, narco-terrorists, and they're here to hurt Americans, blow them up. Now, as a drone pilot, I'm thinking you got to take some type of, I knew I had to, kind of a test to know north, south, east, and west. And I'm thinking you should know where Venezuela is and where America is on a chart. Now, I could be wrong about that. And if there's any drone pilots in the chat, you're welcome to correct me. But I'm thinking, and I'm going on a limb here because it's MAGA, I'm thinking that you would want to see a ship leave Venezuela. That's your first one, leaving Venezuela. That was the first thing we told you, remember? Leave Venezuela, multiple engines, barrels on it, blow them up. 4 Bs. Okay. Well, there's a V in there too, but either way. Okay. And an engine and blow them up. Okay. You see a ship and it leaves Venezuela. Which way would you think that ship would be going to basically be bringing chemical warfare to our shores? Now, I know, I kind of gave it away early on in this conversation, but if you're just getting here, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button if you're just getting here. Please share this out. Please subscribe to the channel because it helps. It helps with my northwest, southeast. You would think that it would be going northwest, or north then west, or west then north. But there would definitely be a W and an N somewhere on there. Your calculations should be able to determine, because you're a pilot, that it's going northwest. If you see a ship leave and go southeast, Should you blow it up? Should that be one that you get to blow up? Just saying. So, the answer should be no. To all of you in the chat. The answer should be no. Northwest, southeast. Now, I know this stuff because 2 reasons. 1, I was a truck driver, and I had to be able to read a map. And 2, I was in the Coast Guard. I had to be able to read a chart. I know the difference between northwest and southeast. So when this ship headed out and headed southeast, we blew it up. We blew it up. Oh. Here's my directional people right now. Sage Outcast, Northwest, Southeast. How may I direct your call?
Hey, what's going on? So you're actually trying to say that those aren't drug boats?
No, that's not what I said.
Where are there? Where?
That's not what I said.
Where
That's
are
not
their
what I said.
flags?
That's not what I said. That's
They
not what I
should be
said.
displaying
That's not what I
flags.
said. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Where did I say they weren't drug boats?
So
where did
why
I say
wouldn't
they
you be
weren't
able to
drug
blow up
boats?
drug boats?
Where did I say they weren't drug
Farm.
boats?
Where are the flags? They
Where
should be
did I
displaying
say
all
they
these
weren't
flags.
drug boats? Where did I say they weren't drug boats?
So, okay, so if you're not saying that, so
what
you're
did I
saying
say?
that we should
What
be able
did
to
I
blow 'em
say?
up then.
What did I
We're not
say?
allowed to blow 'em
What
up?
did I say? What did I say?
I don't know.
Okay, get back to me when you know. Okay, perfect. All right, get back to me when you know what I said. Take your time, go back. You can rewind the video, whatever you want. That's Goldfish, and he's normally stupid. Because if you call me up and you say, are you not saying that they're drug boats? That's not what I said. And then when I ask you what I did say, and you say, I don't know, there's no need for us to have a conversation. Right? There's no need for us to have a conversation because you're calling me on something I didn't say when you don't know what I did say. So now, let's go back to the MAGA people that are somewhat smart and can figure this out. If you are a boat that is heading southeast, away from America, and you are going down to, I don't know, it was going to this country here, this one right here, Suriname. You're going here. This would be southeast, okay? So you are a foreign vessel carrying something, possibly drugs, not come in any way, shape, or form coming to America. Matter of fact, you're heading away from America. Away from America. This is probably why Europe's like, holy shit, we want no part of this. We are not sharing intel with you. Because you are literally just blowing shit up in the ocean. Like, literally, that boat wasn't even going to America. It wasn't even going northwest. It was going southeast. Away from America. Now, maybe this drug boat with these 4 engines was going to circle the entire continent of South America and come back around to California. Maybe. They had enough gas to do that. Doubt it. Okay. Explain to me, not only did they hit that boat, but you are going to hear something in the next video from the intel guy on the intel committee that literally tells me these people in Congress are the dumbest people on the planet. Or at least Cotton is. I don't know about all of them because I'd like to interview all of them. Matter of fact, my last caller explains to me he's the dumbest person on the planet. Are you saying they're not drug? Are you literally saying they're not drug boats? No, I didn't say that. That wasn't in any way, shape, or form the conversation that I had. In any way. Matter of fact, I said that they were drug boats, and I was telling the drone pilot to blow them up. Right? That's how dumb that last caller was. That's why he's a goldfish. He's a goldfish. That was my original goldfish caller. I've blocked him quite a few times, but he got a whole nother number. He is goldfish. Okay. So now there's a drug boat going away. Now, well, what happens when these drugs reach here? Well, a lot of times they reach here and they fall into going to Africa because there's well, let me see here. Is it this one? We're going to get rid of the tankers and we're going to go with cargo. Okay. Okay. So here you have a lot of times you're going to go here and then they're going to leave a port and they're going to go here. They're going to probably run down this coast and end up crossing over to Africa. And from Africa, probably go into like Europe, to be honest. But to be completely honest, not that I don't care about Europe. Look, man, the Coast Guard does law enforcement activities, stopping drugs traveling all within international waters. That's one of their tasks that they're tasked with. They have maritime law enforcement. But I don't think that we should be spending millions of dollars to blow up boats that are heading southeast that are going to Europe. That's kind of their problem. And if they don't want to help us, which they don't, I don't know, tell Europe to handle their own drug problems, right? I'm fair with that. So let's go with it is drugs, and it is coming to America. That would be our problem. I 100% agree with that. International waters where we have memorandums of understanding, where we assist with law enforcement activities with the Coast Guard, we do that also. What I don't think is the military should be blowing up ships. Now, that is a simple course in charting, mapping, knowing the difference between northwest and southeast. Okay. Let's listen here.
Exclusive new CNN report.
And I want to see if you pick up where the problem lies.
Because that speedboat that is at the center of so much controversy, the one that was hit a second time after the first strike left survivors in the water, was actually heading to Suriname in South America.
Suriname. Close enough. Suriname.
According to our sources tonight, not to the United States. Two sources with direct knowledge say that is actually what the admiral who oversaw this entire operation told lawmakers when he was briefing them on Capitol Hill.
Okay. They asked him, where was it going? Was it going to the United States? He asked them under oath with lawmakers there. No.
U.S. drug enforcement officials say the drugs routed through Suriname are typically headed for Europe, not the United States.
Got it. Okay. Europe, not the United States. Now, hang on here. Where is my, this one's great. This was 21 hours ago.
And joining me now is the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, who was in those briefings this week, Republican Tom Cotton of Arkansas. Senator Cotton, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me on, Kristen.
Thank you so much for being here after a very big week. I want to ask you about.
Tell me where you think this went wrong. Tell me where you think this went wrong. Okay.
Our new reporting, NBC News is reporting this morning that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, his order was to kill all 11 individuals on that boat because they were on a list of narco-terrorists who intelligence and military officials determined could be legally targeted. Was Secretary Hegseth's order to kill everyone on the boat because they were on this target list, Senator?
The order, like the entire operation, Kristen, is to destroy these drug boats, which are running drugs into our country from foreign drug cartels.
Running drugs into our country. Our country.
Traffickers that are killing hundreds of Arkansans every year and hundreds of thousands of Americans. Now, of course, before our military conducts such a strike, they have multiple sources of intelligence that give high
Let's say that's true.
Confidence that everyone on that boat is a foreign drug trafficker, not an innocent civilian who's being human trafficked, for instance.
Okay. Now remember, two of the boats there have been survivors. We let them go. We let them go. So we've sunk boats that we let them go. Why?
And therefore, Secretary Hegseth said, and I agree, they're all valid targets. Now, this controversy, let's remember, all started with a Washington Post story about 9 days ago that said after the first strike, there were...
Here we go. I want you to pay attention to this. After the first strike, I'm going to slow it down. He fucks up.
There were two survivors that were helpless.
Okay.
And then they were ordered to kill these helpless survivors. That is simply not the case.
Not the case. Now remember, there are two survivors floating in the middle of the ocean, and they were helpless. He says that was not the case. Okay.
They were not floating in the ocean on a wooden plank or in life jackets. They were on the capsized vessel. They were not incapacitated in any way.
I gotta back it up.
Not the case. That were helpless.
Okay. They were helpless.
That said, after the first strike, there were 2 survivors that were helpless. And then they were ordered to kill these helpless survivors. That is simply not the case. They were not floating in the ocean on a wooden plank or in life jackets. They were on the capsized vessel. They were not incapacitated in any way. It was entirely appropriate to strike the boat again to make sure that cargo was destroyed.
Does anybody know what the word capsized means? Capsized. Remember, he just said they were not helpless, incapacitated, floating in a life jacket or on a wooden plank. They were on the capsized boat. And because the boat was capsized, we struck it again. Now, I don't know what to tell you guys. But I have gone out to save people whose boats have capsized. Or it's upside down. It is upside down. You are not going to flip a boat back over in the water when it's capsized. Not these boats, right? We're not talking a surfboard, okay? If a boat is capsized, you are incapacitated and flowing with the fucking current. I don't know what to tell you. I've been there. I haven't been on a capsized boat, but I've been there when other boats have capsized. And the fact that they're either holding on, they're laying on top, and then you're in the fucking sun surrounded by salt water and sharks. And the sun beating down on your ass with no fresh water in the middle of the ocean. Because remember, it was international waters. Dear Tom Cotton, I would like to place you on a capsized boat in the middle of international waters, and I want you to tell me if you're incapacitated. Because you were just struck by a drone strike, a missile. Hang on, I got it.
Tony.
Capsized fishing vessels, how may I direct your call?
I'm calling about the capsized boat.
Yes.
So is it possible, I'll play a little maybe devil's advocate here, is it possible that the boat being capsized could have still had its cargo, potentially illegal drugs, secured and strapped down and in the boat and being able to be recovered? And isn't the target, or one of the targets, or part of the targets, the drugs, if indeed there were drugs on the boat?
So if the boat is capsized, okay, and the boat is now upside down, those are now survivors in the water, correct?
Right.
What does international and maritime law state that we have to do with survivors in the water?
Okay, but I understand what you're saying, but the objective was to destroy the potential illegal drugs coming in, and if the boat is capsized, is it reasonable to assume that the drugs could have still been secured in the upside down boat?
No.
That would make it be able. No, really? Oh, okay. All
Do you know why? Because you can't. What did I just say in the beginning that you completely ignored?
I didn't ignore it. I'm saying that it's possible that what you're stating doesn't apply here because the target was to destroy the.
No, because you understand that you can sink during World War II, we struck boats and submarines. Right. When the survivors were on the sub that was incapacitated or the ship that was incapacitated, we didn't strike it again. Do you know why?
Because they're survivors.
Because they're survivors. So it doesn't matter. At that point, the ship was struck. It is no longer on its mission. It is no longer making way. It is no longer making way. You now that is now a survivor. Those are survivors. And according to international law, according to U.S. maritime law, we can't kill survivors in the water. So it doesn't matter. At that point, we still have to rescue the survivors and seize the ship.
I understand completely what you're saying.
Okay.
I think maybe, though, it's possible that we're ignoring the fact that the target, which was the target, we agree the boat was the target, not necessarily the people operating the boat.
Correct. So the boat was capsized and no longer capable of making way. Correct.
But it was not destroyed.
That's not the purpose of this. That's not the purpose of it.
How do you know that is not the purpose of it?
Because what part of this don't you understand in regards to maritime and international law?
No, I understand what you're saying here, but what I'm saying is perhaps that this is you're not quite laying out the scenario.
I am laying out the scenario. The scenario is not to destroy the ship. It is to stop them from delivering drugs to the United States of America. Under maritime, we don't do things like when we sink ships, when we attack in the Navy, when we were even during war, that ship might not sink. You still have to rescue the survivors.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what the target was. You're ignoring the fact that you can't do that, right?
Provided that you're there to rescue the survivors, right? Because I mean, we've shot down planes, I'm sure, over the ocean where people have parachuted out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might depend on the circumstance whether or not we're able to rescue those potential survivors. But the target, I think possibly, and I could be wrong, Sage. You
no,
might be
it
right.
doesn't matter what your target was. It doesn't matter what your target. It doesn't matter if your mission was to blow up the boat, and because the boat didn't get completely blown up, it was maritime law and international law strictly state you are not allowed to kill survivors, and if they are incapacitated, floating in the ocean, waving for help, which they did, you can't second strike them. It doesn't matter what your mission was. Doesn't matter.
Let me say this one more time, because I think we're talking about two different things.
Okay.
If the mission,
yeah.
I'm just gonna play a little devil's advocate here.
Okay.
But if the mission was to destroy the boat,
yeah,
that was the mission, and the boat was not destroyed,
yeah,
and just because there are survivors on the boat,
yeah,
does that mean that we cannot still destroy the boat?
After you save the survivors, you can fire 50 caliber rounds into the boat and send it to the ocean. But you can't just launch another drone strike, killing survivors. No.
Okay, I think we're gonna disagree on.
Wait, what are you disagreeing on? Wait. What are you disagreeing on?
We're disagreeing that the target, destroying the target.
Yeah.
That objective wasn't complete.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. We neither of us are disagreeing on that. At that point, you failed your mission. Your job is to now go rescue the survivors and then pull them out of the water and then fire 50 caliber rounds into the boat until the boat sinks.
How do we know that boat, they had an opportunity to do that before assuming that
because we had a drone we had a drone circling the fucking thing. If another boat showed up, you then could shoot the other boat. Like, I don't understand, like, what are we disagreeing with? What part of you can't kill survivors?
The target not being completely destroyed.
Well, listen, listen to me.
Anyways, go ahead, make it quick.
When we target a ship and it doesn't sink, and there are survivors on it, we don't keep shooting at the fucking thing with a battleship until the ship's dead and under the water and then rescue the survivors.
Well, let me ask you one more question.
You know that's a war crime, right?
Hold on. Let me ask you another question. I know you were in the Coast Guard, and I know you have privy to certain information that.
Well, that's not privy to my information. You can pull up these war crimes.
Hey, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is that? So I'll create a scenario.
Okay.
Let's say there's a ship. We fired torpedoes at the ship. The ship is hit. It's smoking. It's billowing. Is it until they surrender?
Yes.
The ship. If the ship surrenders, is that what makes it a war crime?
Or the ship is basically inoperative, that it's no longer capable of doing anything. Yes.
Yeah, but how do you know that though?
Capsized would tell you. If a ship was capsized,
I know that was capsized, but the cargo still was potentially trapped.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the ship had on it. It doesn't matter if it was a fucking submarine. If the listen, okay, I
disagree on this. I'll listen to your response on the radio.
I appreciate it. Capsized would tell you you're good to go. A ship upside down in the water would pretty much tell you got him. It's no longer a boat that can do anything right now, and you're a drone above it. If somebody else shows up, you can send another drone or use the second rocket from the drone. Like, what? It doesn't matter if your job was to blow up the ship. You did. It's upside down in the water. It's a buoy. It's no longer a fucking ship. You now have a buoy in the water. And even if everything was strapped down and not there, doesn't mean you can just open fire on all of the civilians sitting on top of it. That's literally a war crime. I mean, think about that during World War II. And a ship that we sunk capsized. And the survivors were sitting on top of it, waiting for the Navy vessel to come get them. Could we open fire on those survivors sitting on top of that ship? No! It's a war crime. It doesn't matter what your mission was. The ship was upside down. You know what the problem is? And I swear to God, I'm going to bring in a brick and just bash my head up against bricks. Because it's like, I give you a scenario. The ship is capsized. I don't care what's on it. It literally could be a Chinese battleship. It could be hauling, I don't give a shit, whatever you want. It's capsized. The law states, international law, U.S. maritime law, we can't kill survivors floating in the water. They're no longer a threat. There's no threat. There's no threat at that point. It's gone. The ship is not going to make it to the United States capsized. Yeah, but another ship could have met it. Well, we have other drones, and you're going to circle that ship. And if somebody comes to their rescue that is not going to arrest them, you can take that ship out. But we didn't do that. We just said, fuck it. 2 guys swimming, shoot them. They were waving. They knew that the missile, listen, they knew a missile blew them up. They probably saw it or heard it. It's a fucking, I don't know if you've ever heard missiles. I mean, I haven't heard missiles, but when I watch fucking things that were actual attacks, you can hear when those missiles are coming down. They're loud. They're loud. So I guarantee you they knew it was a missile. They knew it was a drone. I didn't know if they knew it was U.S. drone. But it's upside down. It's capsized. Doesn't matter if you didn't complete your target. Doesn't matter if you didn't destroy the ship. You fucked up. You capsized the boat. At that point, there's 2 survivors in the water. If you don't save them, you're the bad guy. You are the bad guys. Because that's what we do as good guys. I don't understand. There's no excuse. I can't do that. I don't.
It is in no way violation of the law of war. And I think the White
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Take any other scenario besides drugs. Any other wartime scenario. You just attacked a ship and you capsized it. Survivors are sitting on top of the capsized vessel during war. World War III breaks out. We sink a destroyer. The destroyer is now capsized, which usually happens because of watertight integrity on ships. That's why a Coast Guard 41 is designed to roll over. Because we have a bunch of fucking watertight integrity doors that we have to maintain closed, so we keep buoyancy, okay? So a lot of times these ships capsize because of buoyancy. All right, now you have an upside down ship, Chinese destroyer, floating in the water. Can we, according to maritime law, U.S. international law, wartime law, can we just roll up alongside it and open fire on all of those survivors sitting on top of the capsized ship? No. The answer's no. And there have been war crimes and people who were executed in Germany. Germany did that with one of their U-boats. Okay? They shot them and threw grenades at them in the water. Germany executed them. Germany executed a U-boat commander, second in charge, and the medical officer for doing that. If Germany's going to execute them because of World War II, what in the hell do you think we shouldn't allow that? We could allow that to happen. Like, what scenario? I'm at a point now where I'm dumbfounded, which usually happens to me every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays. But I'm dumbfounded at the fact that it's like, what do I have to do to make you realize that you can't kill survivors? Yeah, but. No, there's no buts. Can't kill a survivor. But I don't believe Israel should be killing survivors, but yet they are. I don't believe we should go into a school. I don't believe we should go into a town, a village in Vietnam and kill everybody. But we did, and it was a war crime. Well, guess what? In the water, the minute your ship is capsized and you are sitting on top of it, you are a survivor. And that is a rescue mission. Okay.
Washington Post owes Secretary Hegseth and especially Admiral Mitch Bradley, a highly decorated career Navy SEAL, an apology for that slander.
Okay, and now we're going to get to what you saw in the video momentarily, but I just want to be very clear because what you're saying is significant. Senator. It sounds like you're confirming, did Admiral Bradley brief lawmakers that in fact all of the people on that boat were on a military trip?
Hang on, is this fucking goldfish? No. Sage Outcast capsized cruise lines. How may I direct your call during wartime? Can you hear me?
Call from
Jeremy.
Oh, God, I hate when I do that now. Sage Outcast capsized cruise lines. How may I direct your call?
Hi. Yeah, I was just wondering, since in that hearing, the Admiral said that all the targets were on a approved military or target list so they could all be killed. I guess why does it matter that they were killed?
Why does it matter if
let's just say Osama bin Laden was on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
They bombed it. They flipped over. Osama bin Laden didn't die. He climbed on top.
Mm-hmm.
Are we not allowed to kill him?
No.
Okay. Whatever. You're a fucking idiot.
No, you want the truth? I'm sorry it hurts your feelings, but this isn't new. This isn't my opinion. Like, we did this during World War II when we sank German ships that were killing us or Japanese ships. You pull the survivors out. At that point, he's a survivor. No, you can't kill him. It's international law. It's U.S. military code of justice. It's maritime law. No, I can't kill them. No. Look, if I'm doing a boarding, I was a boarding officer in the United States Coast Guard, okay? So I boarded boats and mostly did fishery inspections because I was in Massachusetts. Let's say I was down in Florida and I was boarding boats and I find drugs on the boat, okay? And that person tries to attack me with a knife and he wants to kill me. We struggle and he falls into the water. Can I then pull out my gun and shoot him? No. Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't know what part of this you don't understand. People have been executed for this. I mean, people have been executed for this. It doesn't matter if they were at that point. It's right here. War crime trial. Panelists war crime trials. Like, you can look this up yourself. This isn't new. It's just what we do because we're better. If not, then you're just a terrorist yourself, right? What separates us from the terrorists? Anybody want to get back to me on that one? What separates us from the terrorists? What separates the good guys from the bad guys? First of all, we have to verify that all of them were that. And you realize that the Coast Guard does boardings. They did like 250 boardings or 220 boardings, and 25% of the time they were wrong. They weren't drug vessels. We make mistakes, right? We get bad intel. And it's not me caring in regards to the terrorist. It's me abiding by what separates the good guys from the bad guys. And the good guys don't kill survivors. You just don't. Good cops don't shoot people who aren't trying to kill them. Good guys from the bad guys. I mean, are you okay with Israel killing kids? And I mean, would that be okay? Like, where does it end? Like, do we just go into a school and say, you know, that kid's dad right there was a terrorist, and he's going to probably grow up, and we killed him, and he's going to probably grow up and be a terrorist. Maybe we should just shoot that kid. Is that okay? Like, why did you hang up? I mean, I answered your question. This is the best part, too. It's like, if somebody asks me a direct question, I answer it with a direct answer. Most of the time, I ask a direct question, and people freaking talk to me about 45 minutes about, you know, all this other crazy shit. You ask me a direct question. If it was Osama bin Laden, no. No. Technically, no. If you want to be honest, no. I mean, do you guys think it's new that you don't kill survivors and you don't kill people who are giving up? Do you think that's new, that the military isn't supposed to just go in there and have people waving the white flag and saying, I give up, I have no guns, and the military shouldn't go in there and just shoot them? Do you think that's a new thing? Well, I guess I can tell who was in the military and who wasn't, but okay.
Target list. Is that accurate?
I did not hear him personally say anything about a military target list. Now, he had several briefings throughout the day. I wasn't in the briefing, for instance, with Mark Warner, my counterpart on the Senate Intelligence Committee. I can only say what he told me. He said they had high confidence based on multiple sources of intelligence that everyone on that boat was part of a foreign terrorist organization and been designated by the U.S. government.
So they could be legally
cartels.
targeted. They could be lethally and legally targeted, he argued.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't target every single member of a foreign terrorist organization, do we? No. We don't kill every single one of them. No, we select the ones that could be. But even if they were, you still have to abide by the international and maritime law, right?
Both before the first strike and after the first strike.
Was Admiral Bradley acting on Secretary Hegseth's orders, Senator?
Well, anytime you have an operation like this, there's an operation order. It's written down. It's got very detailed instructions. I think because this was the first strike, Secretary Hegseth and Admiral Bradley both wanted to be present and be making a decision. As you heard Secretary Hegseth in the opening say.
Now remember, the ship was going southeast. America is northwest. Southeast, northwest. A little confusion. So there's already one lie. Okay? There's already one verification that maybe this wasn't the right ship. Which way was it going? To America or away? Away. Fail. There's your first fail right there. We are blowing up narco-terrorists, allegedly, that are heading to America, bringing drugs to America. Was this ship coming to America? No. But you blew it up? Yes. Okay. I mean, you can call in. I would have had a conversation with that person. He seems, I mean, at the end, I understand he's in his feeling, and it's fine. But I at least would have had, like I said, I would have had the conversation with him.
He initiated the first strike. You've seen the video. There's a lot of smoke. It takes a long time to clear. I'm sure Secretary Hegseth had many other matters that he had to attend to, and he trusts Admiral Bradley.
Now, the smoke did clear, and they saw them, because you would have to tell that they were clear to see 2 survivors on there, and they were basically, sitting on top, capsized. He said they were sitting on top of the capsized vessel. So that takes time to determine that.
Once the smoke had cleared, once cloud cover cleared, it was clear that the first strike had not destroyed the boat. Then Admiral Bradley made the decision for the second strike. Now, in subsequent strikes since then, because there's been more than 20, obviously it's no longer Secretary Hegseth or even 4-star generals making that decision, nor should it be. But on the first strike, I believe they both wanted to be present and be observing it.
Let me ask you about the aftermath of that first strike. The Pentagon's Law of War manual, which you're familiar with, having served in Iraq and Afghanistan, says, quote, orders to fire upon the shipwrecked would be clearly illegal. Given that, how was that follow-on strike of 2 survivors legal, Senator?
Well, again, Kristen, they were not incapacitated. They were not in the water.
Yes, they were. They were incapacitated on a shipwrecked vessel, capsized.
Surviving only because they had a life jacket or hanging to a plank of wood. They were sitting on that boat. They were clearly moving around on it. That is in contrast, for instance, to another strike that Secretary Hegseth just...
It's capsized. That's shipwrecked. It's capsized. It is upside down in the water. This is where he fucked up. And I would have been like, whoa. Hey, I have a question for you. In regards to being shipwrecked, that would be capsized. A capsized boat would be considered shipwrecked, right? Because they weren't capable of flipping the boat back over, right? He fucked up. And he knows it.
Described just yesterday in October, in which you had 2 survivors who were in that state. They were essentially just dog paddling in the water. And what happened on that strike? A U.S. vessel went and picked those survivors up and took them back to their home country. That's just an example of how our military makes these decisions.
No, that's an example on how the general made a decision, but whoever that second drone strike was, whoever that second ship was, not the second drone strike, but the second ship, that drone pilot was like, oh, fuck no, I ain't making this decision. I ain't making this fucking decision. I know I can't kill him.
Based on the facts and circumstances of each particular case, consistent with laws and with the directive you just stated.
I hear you saying they weren't incapacitated, and yet Democratic Congressman Adam Smith of Washington, the ranking member on the House Armed Services Committee, saw this very differently. He saw that video. He said, quote, it looks like 2 classically shipwrecked people. Other lawmakers who saw the video said the 2 men appeared to raise their arms, potentially to signal that they were trying to surrender. Senator, why did Admiral Bradley interpret those actions as anything other than these 2 men?
You're on a boat. It's upside down, capsized. He's never going to use that term again because he fucked up by saying it. He should have never said that, and he fucked up. Waving.
And trying to seek help and survive.
Well, again, they were sitting or standing on top of a capsized boat. They weren't floating helplessly in the water. And
yes, floating in the ocean in a capsized vessel, guess what? If you called the Coast Guard, and this is the best part. If you called the Coast Guard and you said, Mayday, 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 Coast Guard, this is vessel stupid caller, okay? We are capsized in international waters. Seek assistance. We're going. That SAR alarm is going off. It is 100% going off. And we are racing down to that boat. And we're hauling ass to get there. We're calling in other ships. We're going to put a security. All vessels in the proximity of blah, 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 blah. Vessel capsized. Seek assistance. 100%. We're sending a plane. We're sending a fucking cutter. We are sending people to somebody because you are incapacitated, floating around in the fucking ocean on a ship that may stay capsized or might not. No fucking idea how long that'll stay capsized for. No clue. You'll be out in the elements. It could be the sun. It could be the weather. You've got nothing to drink. You've got nothing to eat. Floating around, and if it's hot in the sun with the reflection of the fucking water, good luck. Good luck. We're going. We're not like, well, are you floating on a plank? Hang on. Let me go through my checklist here. Are you floating on a plank? No? Are you floating in your life jacket? No? Is the vessel you're on capsized? Yes. Are you on top of it? Yeah. Well, you're not really in need of the Coast Guard, right? It's a capsized vessel. You're not incapacitated, right? You got 2 arms. Start paddling. Maybe you can out-paddle, I don't know, the current. Maybe a storm will come up and you'll run into some 20-foot waves and maybe it'll reflip back over and you'll be good to go. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my entire life. Literally the dumbest shit. This dude can't be real. Cannot be real.
Chris, I don't think it matters all that much what they were trying to do. It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo.
Good luck. They are not going to be able to flip it back over. You have nothing. It ain't happening.
Continue their mission.
Or to stay afloat.
Maybe they were signaling to other airplanes or drug cartel boats because they're in waters that are just off drug cartel areas.
Wait a minute. You just said that they were sitting on top of the boat. Wait a minute. You just...
One point.
Making this shit up as we go. Oh, hang on. I'll get it. I'll get it. Let me get this on here. Sonia, you want to get the phone? Sage Outcast, capsized vessels are us. How can we help you?
Hi, Sage. I want to commend you for your clear and concise description of the situation. I put a comment on your feed, and I want to make sure people hear this. My understanding that they learned their lesson because the next time there were survivors on a capsized boat, they rescued them and sent them back to their home country.
They did, yes.
I believe it was October.
Correct.
This was September. The next time, they knew that it was illegal.
Yes. Or whoever the drone pilot was that was probably on his own was probably like, yeah, I'm not making that call. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Whoever the drone pilot was who was probably on his own was like, yeah, I can't do that. That's not legal. I can't do that. The general might have made that decision, but I'm not a general. Correct. They sent him home. Remember, they're drug dealers, and they sent him home. Why?
Right.
Why?
And we haven't heard anything about them. I guess they made them promise not to say anything, or broadcast or make a statement. Get what their background was. I think one of them was a fisherman.
Yeah, one of them said that he did say his wife was a fisherman. It was a fishing boat. And I'm not even arguing that these are not drug boats at this moment. I'm arguing that you can't just you first of all, it wasn't even coming to America. It was going southeast, not northwest.
Exactly.
So, not that, hey, well, they're still drug dealers. Fine, send in the Coast Guard. Chase them down. They're not coming to America, though. Chase them down.
Every day.
Correct.
They do this every day.
Every day. Every day the Coast Guard does it. I can show video after video after video after video of Coast Guard doing boardings and racing them down with helos, with planes, with cutters, with fast boats. We'll catch them. You're not going to outrun the radio.
And your statement and your point about us paying our military, are wasting our money, our military budget on these bonds. It's much better things to pay for.
Yes, and maybe it's me being a jerk, but if that boat was going to go to Europe, let Europe's ass get down there with a drone strike and drone them, or send in law enforcement. But to waste millions of dollars for a drone strike on something that's not even coming here.
Right.
It's like, I thought we were America. I thought we were like put America first again, right? And it's like, hey, well, should we drone strike them? Are they coming here? Well, no. That's $1 million drone, son, with $1 million missile on it. Okay. No, maybe we shouldn't. Let's just call it in and let law enforcement catch them. Okay. But yet.
Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you for calling in. I get confused in regards to. I think I give a pretty good description. I try to do it funny. I try to be somewhat comical about it. But it's just like I don't know how to describe this anymore. Like you can't. Like we didn't do it during wartime when Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and we still saved the survivors off of ships. I don't. Germany with their U-boats, there was war crime. I don't know what it takes. I'm confused, but I'm always confused.
What is it? The UFC? What is it? The Uniform Code?
Uniform Code of Military Justice, maritime law, and international law all state you can't kill survivors. And what we deem as survivors in the water is an incapacitated ship, an incapacitated boat, vessel, ship that basically no longer is en route or can perform its mission, and the people on board aren't sitting there with RPGs, which they weren't. You know what I'm saying? So that's a rescue mission.
In this Cotton statement, he's got his nose so far up idiot's butt or Hegseth's butt, whoever. It's ridiculous that they could flip it over. Like you said, it's not a surfboard.
Right. It's not even a jet ski. I used to be in the ocean. Trying to flip over a jet ski can be tough. But if this thing had 4 engines on it, those engines, and it's pretty wide to have 4 engines, two of you are not going to flip that bad boy over. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to break the surface. Like, good luck. And you got currents, and you have the weather. I don't know what the temperature of the water was, but unless it's 98 degrees, you start to lose, you can start to go into hypothermia, slower if the water's warmer, but I don't know what the temperature of the water was, to be honest. Right? And then you have exposure from the sun, beating down on the water. Anybody that goes to the beach or sits by a pool and tans realizes how fast that they burn, or, floating on the water compared to, on land. There's a lot of different aspects of exposure when you're in the ocean that doesn't take long to kill you, basically, or definitely makes it where you're not fighting back. You're just not. You have nothing to drink.
Even if they could flip it over, it's not viable to go anywhere. What are they going to do?
Yeah, you just blew it up with a missile that it was upside down. I mean, good luck. And even if it was, we can follow you with the drone. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Well, they could have been meeting someone else. Well, we would have saw that because we still had the drone oversight. Yeah. It's just, to me, it's like, I don't know.
What his story is. That is just ridiculous. And he's the only one that tells me all the things that are said.
So,
anyway,
but I do appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much.
Description.
All right. Thank you again. Oh, I don't know. And I appreciate the calls. And I do appreciate the calls. Even the ones that devil's advocate. I get it. But you can be devil's advocate in some regards. But the problem is that we're the good guys. And I want to stay the good guys. I don't want to be the bad guys. I don't want to be the Houthis that just launches rockets at ships, right? And that I believe we should be launching rockets at the Houthis when they do that, not the other way around. And it's capsized. And if you can't deem that, if a capsized vessel can't be deemed as incapacitated, I don't know if you know how boats work, Mr. Cotton, but upside down boats don't work as well as right side up. They just don't. It's an important aspect that you just basically, the same thing. I don't know. Losing my mind. Okay, I'm going to probably dive into this a little bit, but I'm not going to dive into this a lot today. I might cover it. Should I cover the Venezuelan thing? I'll give you the gist, and I'll cover it tomorrow. I'll give you the gist, and I'll cover it tomorrow. Okay, let me turn this on. So the national security, it's 33 pages. Is my guy here? No. Strategy of the United States of America had just came out, right? It's 33 pages. So I've read through some of this, and I'm going to kind of give the gist. But here's what I think is going on. And it's been happening, obviously, not just under Trump. It also happened under Obama, under Biden, and now under Trump. Okay. So, and I want to dive into this more, but I'll give you the gist of it. Let me turn off these. Let me turn off the ships so you can't see the ships. Okay. Let me click on this. So, in my opinion, reading the national security strategy, again, I don't know if Trump's, I don't think Trump wrote this, obviously. What they're looking to do is what it sounds like is they've realized that we are, I'll get that in a minute. We are I know people, this is going to trigger some people. But just hear me out. China has basically stepped up, and we're no match for China at this moment, okay? And if you put all the pictures together, obviously, we could just launch nuclear missiles and it would be over anyways. But as a strategic aspect to try to go against China, we're really no match for China right now. I know nobody wants to hear that, and everybody's like, yes, we are. But if you were to take everything into aspect in regards that, they've tried these war games. China wins a lot because they have manufacturing, the economy, how their people are treated compared to our people, in regards to even their navy, even their fishing navy, the fact that they can, cause a lot of problems outside. If we were to go against China, we would probably lose, unless we had, we'd have to have a bunch of other allies, things like that. And I'm going to explain this a little bit more tomorrow. Because I know right now everybody's turning me off, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to explain a little bit better. And once I explain it, you'll kind of understand, 1 for 1 in regards to the economy, 1 for 1 in regards to, now our Navy our military probably beat them, but they've got numbers, they've got aspects to be able to close the China Sea. They could basically shut off supply lines of things that we need, like rare earth minerals and things like that. So the American strategy is now basically, the first strategy was to deport everybody and bring manufacturing back to the United States. Well, what they're realizing is that's not working. Because manufacturing is not coming back, because the manufacturing, it's still too expensive to manufacture in the United States. And if we were to do solely 100% manufacturing in the United States, the items that we bought people wouldn't be able to afford as many as they can afford now, okay? Because people would have to be spending money on food and everything else, and business would be lost. The more expensive things are, the less you buy of them. Okay, so what it sounds like they're doing now is they're saying, hey, what we need to do is more of the Monroe Doctrine, which they've started to do, is instead of having manufacturing come back to the United States, they're basically saying if we want to be able to compete with China, we can't bring manufacturing back to the United States. It's too expensive. What we need to do is send manufacturing down the Pan American Highway, which was basically back, we started this in 1920s, I think. Down the Pan American Highway, right? There's an actual highway that goes all the way from here. The only problem is the Darien Gap. But either way, all the way from South America, all the way up to, I think, Alaska, to be honest. I think it goes to Alaska, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure about that. I know it goes to Canada. Don't hold me to the Alaska thing. So what they've decided to do is say you're not going to compete with China in regards to manufacturing by bringing manufacturing back to the United States. What you can do is move manufacturing down into South America. You can send the jobs to South America. So if you think you're going to have a bunch of people here that be like, oh, the jobs are coming back. No, they're not. The manufacturing is going to end up going down to Mexico, South America, and so on. Problem is, for you to move manufacturing down to South America, well, there's too much chaos down there. There's way too many. There's too many countries that don't agree with America being superior. That would be Venezuela. That would be Brazil. I'm trying to think of all the other ones. Like Argentina, I think that's why we bought off Argentina. Trying to think if there's other ones. Okay, either way, and that's why we kind of bought off Argentina, because they will agree with us, right? They're on board with us as long as you give them money. Okay, so if you wanted to basically, in any way, shape, or form, claim this area and try to regulate a better country to be able for businesses to go down there and manufacture, you got to solve crime, you got to solve drugs, you got to try to eliminate that. It can't be a haven for massive amounts of problems down there. So I think what we're looking to do is not really stop the drugs from coming to America. We're trying to make it a better area for U.S. businesses to move manufacturing down into South America. Okay. If you were going to do that, Venezuela would be the best place to start because one, the ports, right? The ports. Two, it's close to a lot of our military assets that we could get down there for patrolling and things like that. And that's when you can control. Let me turn on red and green. Okay, that way you can kind of control this area. So if I was gonna do this, and I wanted to open up South America to American businesses to move down there to be competitive with China, because having lower labor costs is how you're going to be competitive with China. You can't force people to spend more money. They only make so much money. You can't force them to spend more. You've got to keep your costs down, and you've got to be able to have labor cheap enough to manufacture some goods, or people just won't buy it. So what you'd want to do is go in and take Venezuela. I think we're going to put boots on the ground in Venezuela. I think we're looking to take these ports, because once in Venezuela, if you believe you can overthrow Maduro in Venezuela and put somebody in there that is more supportive of U.S. and allowing U.S. companies to come in there, that's a good place to start right there, right? Now, at that point, you can probably go into Colombia, and you can go into, eventually, you're not going to really go into Brazil because China would snap a gasket. But you can get you could probably get Ecuador, because we're already decent with Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. You could basically have access to these areas right here and move manufacturing in down here, okay? Because you have to be able to compete. I know that's way too many colors. I know. Let me turn it off. You have to be able to compete with China in regards to that, okay? Now, what you don't want is everything on this side, because this is the China side. So you're kind of protecting this side by using Venezuela and going in on Venezuela. I think we're going to go invade Venezuela. I think we're going to put troops in Venezuela, unless he surrenders, of course. That changes everything. And also have access to these ports. This is also why he wanted the Panama Canal, to get control of the Panama Canal, right? And I think the plan, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more, or maybe I can find somebody, a video or something that kind of emphasizes this. After reading this, there's a couple things in here that kind of make this. One, he doesn't like Europe. We're pulling away from Europe, and we're basically siding more with Russia. Now, Obama did this too, in regards to Hillary Clinton went there and hit the reset. He wanted to hit the reset. Remember the reset button with Hillary Clinton? I think he wants to side more with Russia to pull them away from China. Bad idea, because they're not going to pull away from China, right? They're on a border with China. Oh, hang on, I got it. Probably somebody tell me I'm crazy. Oh, geez, where's my phone? Oh, there it is.
Bert.
Yeah, Sage Outcast, Crazy Hotline. How may I direct your call?
How you doing, Sage? Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Didn't Donald Trump just blow a gasket in 2019-20? Hey, go after Venezuela. I don't know why you're doing that, because I had you all set up, ready to go and get their oil. Pam Bundy and Cash Patel have until December 19th, which, knock on wood, on everything you got, we don't go to war or boots on the ground, people are saying, in Venezuela. That is what I think they're doing, because they're doing bow strike after bow strike, antagonizing them a little bit, like poking the bear. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this to you. So they have some type of workaround so they can put boots on the ground in Venezuela, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know 100% sure, obviously, because Maduro could surrender, things like that. But I believe that if you were going to go into South America to try to create, to move manufacturing down there, to be competitive with China, then you'd have to start in Venezuela. You'd have to start there to take control of that, because at that point, you'd now have access to the ports, even if it was to bring in our military ships into the ports, my opinion.
Right, because you have right now in Puerto Rico, like I said before, you have over 15,000 Fleet Marines in Puerto Rico, right, training in there. Plus, you got the Art Gerald R4, which has over 1,000 Marines just ready to go, and it's 238 miles away from Venezuela. I don't know why he would put so much weight into this if they're not going to do something. That's the reason why we think that way. And then that and plus Pam Bundy and Cash Patel only have until the 19th to get out the real Epstein files.
True.
That's what we think is really going on. Well, anyways, thanks, Sage, for my
thank
60 seconds again. But yeah, that's what we really think, because he said that in 2018. Oh, he got all upset because that administration didn't go after the Venezuelan oil gun that he all set up.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thanks for calling there, brother. All right. So, and reading this is kind of, I'm going through it still. I still have to read more, but I'm just kind of going through all of this. Obviously, we want to have energy dominance and oil dominance. Their oil is not the best oil. It's kind of thick, and it needs a lot of to be processed. It goes through a lot of stuff. But I think, and then Trump basically believes everybody should kiss America's ass. That could go either way. Either people will fall in on that, or people will basically just say, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." I don't know. I'm just reading. I want to compare the 2020. What is it? 2022. 2022 strategy with 2025 strategy, and then the 2018 strategy, which was Trump's. I think Trump's last one was 2018. Anyways, that is pretty much. I think I'll talk about that tomorrow, and maybe cover a video tomorrow. Let's talk about energy bills before we go.
LNG exports as natural gas prices have risen well above the $5 mark in recent days, and I expect they will stay elevated, likely for the rest of the winter. It depends on how cold and dreary and dark of a winter we have. The worse winter we have, the higher natural gas prices are going to be.
So just so you guys know, I'm definitely in the Northeast, but I want you to prepare for possible higher electric bills. I want you to prepare for that. I want you to save a little bit of money. If I'm wrong, spend it. If I'm right, you got it. But everything that I'm seeing is going to be higher electric bills because higher natural gas.
But markets are much more sensitive to weather now than they were in the past because we export nearly 20 billion cubic feet of natural gas a day, which is an ungodly amount. So discussions are heating up again about LNG exports and their impact on pricing. Of course, the oil companies, natural gas companies are saying has no impact on prices. The fact that...
Should we call goldfish? I'm going to call goldfish. Let's call goldfish. Let's see if he figured out what I was talking about. No, that's not goldfish. Hang on. This is goldfish. Here's goldfish. We're going to give him a call. We're going to give goldfish a call. He might not answer. Probably I wouldn't answer if I was goldfish. I'm not going to play his number, though. Wonder if it goes to voicemail.
Hello.
Hey, Goldfish, have you figured out what I was talking about yet?
I didn't watch the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so you didn't know. So you didn't figure out what I was talking about.
I watched a little bit more of it, and then I realized that you were talking about something else.
Yeah.
But the thing is how do we know that they're not circling back, or how do we know that they're not circling?
Because they're capsized. They're upside down in the water. They were capsized.
But how do you know that after they know they're being followed, that they're not looking like they're going in a different direction?
Because you could have followed them. You could have followed them the whole way, and once they came back, then you could have did it. But they weren't. They were en route going down there.
It's
so those
obvious if they're drug boats, they're obviously like making themselves targets. So I mean, if you have a big problem with them being blown up, that's fine. But I thought it was something else.
No, they were on their way to send drugs eventually to Europe.
Well, that could be.
Okay.
I haven't really heard about that.
Well, that's what the general said in a meeting, in the closed door meeting with Congress. That they were not going.
Watch the beginning of the show. I checked in, and I was, I thought I was assuming something that wasn't correct. So
which was not incorrect, that they weren't drug boats?
No, I didn't say that. No, that I thought you were implying that they weren't that.
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter if they are that, right?
Well, how do you know that after they're not being like they know that they're being followed, that they aren't circling to make it look like they're going to Europe instead of going to America?
Because boats like that only have so much. It's not a car. Boats like that only have so much fuel. You try not to go into international waters.
You're going to do something. You're going to do something.
Yeah, but when you're feeling followed by a drone who can basically is going to have way more ability to keep following you.
Still a possibility.
No, it's not.
Another possibility.
No, it's not. It's not a possibility.
All right. Well,
it's not a possibility.
You have a problem with that? That's reasonable. It's a reasonable.
How do you know there are drugs? You know that the Coast Guard about 1 in 4.
If they're not coming to America, then we probably shouldn't be getting ourselves involved in that.
Do you know about 1 in 4 Coast Guard boats that we board? We make a mistake and they don't have drugs on them when we think they do. About 1 in 4, about 25%.
What I was trying to say is, where are the flags? If they really aren't.
All vessels don't have to run flags. All vessels don't have to run flags.
Not all vessels, but vessels in that area, I believe.
No, they don't.
Because I was doing a little.
Nope.
Well,
what was the size of the vessel? What was the size of the vessel?
I guess it depends, right? So
correct.
You're saying under a certain length they don't have to.
Yep. And they can run. Yeah, you can be a non-flagged vessel. Does a non-flagged vessel doesn't mean that you're a drug boat. It means you're a non-flagged vessel.
Do you think any of those that they've bombed so far are armed?
That aren't drug boats? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are.
Well, then why did we let 2 of the survivors go?
I don't know which.
One of the vessels was a fishing boat. It's been verified as a fishing boat.
That? CNN?
No, not CNN. And then we even let 2 of the survivors. They let 2 of the survivors go. They let them go. Like back to their home country. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't have any information.
Well,
on that.
okay. Well, I respect the fact you don't know, but you're assuming things when you don't know all the information, right?
Where are you getting that from?
Just Google it. Anywhere you want. Choose where you want to get it from. Just Google 2 of the. Just Google.
I don't have
one of the vessels. One of the Venezuela vessels blown up was a fishing one. Google it, and I'm not going to tell you where I'm getting it from because I can tell you I'm getting it from.
But I heard that was debunked.
No.
That was debunked. So I'll look
just Google that. That way you can decide which news is best for you.
I'll take a look at it from a few different angles. I'll see what I think of it. I haven't heard that 2 of people released. I didn't hear it.
And how do you know that there's? How do you know that there's? If you blow them up, how do you know that there's drugs in there and there's not small children being shipped in containers?
Because they're supposed to be having flags on the boat.
No flags. This flagging thing that you don't have to run flags. You don't have to run flags.
I believe in that area you do.
No, you don't. It is not based on the area that you're in that you have to run. No. Learn flag law.
I took a look at it. I thought.
Okay, you don't have to run flags.
For having to have flags
you don't have to run flags.
I thought they qualify.
No, you don't even have to run. You can be a non-flagged vessel.
Doesn't that seem like that's done then on purpose? That they're
to not run flags.
That's how they're trying to get through.
No, you can't.
They're using this as like a way to.
Wait, do you think because you run so you think drug dealer? You think you think that if they don't run flags?
I don't have.
This is great.
Evidence.
This is great.
They didn't.
So listen, all you drug runners out there, if you're not running flags, we're gonna assume you're a drug dealer. But don't run flags, and you're not a drug dealer. So basically, if they do run flags, they're not a drug dealer.
They can tell by the flags who they are.
So listen, take your drug dealing flags down, sir. We know about you.
You don't think that would solve a lot of the problem then?
The drug dealing flags?
No, put up flags so that you understand the concept of flags.
Yes, I do, but you understand that you can run fake flags, right?
Yeah, and then they can look it up too, and they can call it in.
These vessels don't need flags. They're not of the size that they're required to run flags.
Then that's one of the problems, isn't it?
No, but because flags can be faked, right?
On purpose.
You know, flags can be faked. Even if they did run flags, you know, flags can be faked. Do you know what flags do?
Sure they can, but then
what do flags do? What do flags do?
It allows them to know who they're connected to, who they're working for.
No, not who they're working for. They allow you to know the state that they're running out of.
Yes.
Okay. So they can. So we don't. So if they ran a Venezuelan flag, then they're fine. They're not drug dealers.
Some of them have company emblems.
Hang on.
So
No.
You don't know what company they are.
Yeah. So what if it's a private company that doesn't want their company emblem on it? Who's running?
Had that stuff.
Who's running? Who's running?
Exactly who they are.
Okay. So then at that point we know exactly who they are. and they're not drug dealers. Because no drug dealer would hide any type of in any way, shape, or form.
We know that those are drug
No
lords.
drug
I don't
dealer
know
would
why you think
lie
the civilians,
about
but
that,
you
right?
think they really look like
So
they
listen,
got a
I got
bunch
this.
of,
I
like,
got this.
little
Dude,
babies
you're
in a
great.
barrel.
This is fantastic. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a company, and I'm gonna get an emblem flag, and I'm gonna get a state flag, and then what I'm gonna do is you'll never know that my business is actually running drugs because I have a full emblem and I have a full flag, and I would never lie about that if I was a drug dealer.
It's not saying that you can't lie about it. but
Okay, so then what are the flags? So what do these flags do for you?
they can investigate it then.
Investigate it how?
They can call the company. They can speak to people.
Yeah, you're speaking to me. Yeah, and you
board,
call
they
me.
can
You
document
wait a minute. You call me.
take records
Hang
of
on,
it.
this is great. And you call me, and I say, yeah, we're transporting little children in buckets.
Okay, so then what we say is when you get ashore, we're gonna get on board your boat.
No, you can't board my boat on shore if I'm not coming to the United States of America.
Too bad. We're gonna do it anyway.
Not if you're not coming to the United States of America. Not if you're not. I'm not coming to the United States of America. You're not.
Well, there's reasons why.
How are you going to board my boat when I come ashore in another country?
They found loopholes and they're running drug boats.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is why we don't call goldfish. And that being said, that right there is exactly what MAGA's problem is. That right there is a master MAGA debater. I got to go.